Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be installing some carbon fiber fenders for the 370Z. So as you can tell, they're already right there installed. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and start installing these things. So first things first, we gotta cut off the bulge that the fender actually has on the inside. That way we don't have any issues with fitment. So we're gonna go ahead and head outside right now so we can go ahead and start cutting that off. Alright, I'm gonna begin by cutting off this axis right here. So I feel like this is gonna interfere with the clearance of the wheels. I feel like it might just hit it and it won't actually sit properly or sit flush, and it might just pull on the fender. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a Dremel to cut that whole thing out. I have to do it on both sides before even installing them. So these are completely brand new. I have to drill my own holes. Same thing over here. So there's a few mounting points. We're gonna go ahead and make new holes and everything. So I'll show you guys the process of how I'm gonna do this. That way you guys have an idea of how to do it yourself. Alright, so here's how everything's looking so far. Everything looks all dusty. I went ahead and cut off one side already. So as you can see, we pretty much removed the line that was right here. That way it can sit flush. But I still gotta smoothen it out. So I'm gonna continue to use the Dremel to sand it down. That way it looks all nice and smooth. There are some parts where I came really close to cutting off the edge, but we're still good. It still has the edge right there. Alright guys, what is up? It is currently 10 p.m. at night. I couldn't sleep, so I'm gonna head and start test fitting the fenders. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're right there. So I'm already gonna start test fitting it. I have the Z in the garage. Like I said, I couldn't sleep, so I was like, man, I'll just go ahead and start test fitting it. I know that for these type of fenders, especially the ones from Fly1, a lot of them have issues with fitment, so not all of them fit perfect. I already know that I'm most likely going to get a little frustrated with the fenders if they're not fitting perfect, but we're going to go ahead and attempt to install them and see how everything flows. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm removing in order to install these, and show you the process of how I'm going to be doing it, how I'm going to be creating the holes and everything. I'm going to take my time on this. I'm just test fitting it for right now, and then I most likely won't drill the holes until tomorrow or maybe this weekend. Alright, so first off, we're going to go ahead and get started by removing the bumper. My quick release tabs, so I just click on this and it's going to come off. And then I have the tabs that are inside the hood that I got to take off. And then once you remove this part, you can already see those bolts right there, 10 millimeters that you got to remove. So I'm going to pop the hood open. I'm going to go ahead and start removing those. Alright, so I went ahead and removed these two 10 millimeters right here. And then at the top, you're actually going to have a total of 4. So you have one here, you have another one there, another one right here, and then you got another one over here on the side. Then we're going to move over to the door. You have one that's right here. You can barely see it. And then you should have another one at the bottom. Alright, so here's one fender installed. So if you guys can see, here's the fitment. I mean, it's not bad. It's like right here is pretty good. It's not that bad. Right here it's really close. I was able to get as close as possible. See, it's mounted right there, and then you have another mount right there. Then you have this one here as well. Now I could move this a little bit up to clear the gap right here, but honestly this is not that bad. When I close the hood, it looks really good. It's really close. And the reason I didn't put it so high is because at the bottom this was gonna be a little bit misaligned. So as you can see, this is really good. Like, this is on point right here. No issues with that. But here at the top it has like a little bit of a gap. I still have to install the other one. So once I get that installed, I'll show you guys how it looks. I didn't actually mount up the light because I didn't want to drill a hole in it. I think it looks really good like this. Kind of like a debadged look. I'm not going to install a light. Maybe I'll think about it in the future. But for right now, I want to see to make sure that these hold up. And then you have another mounting point right here. This one was really hard to get in, so I had to do this one first. And then I went ahead and started doing the top ones. After doing the top ones, I started working on the bottom ones and pretty much started moving it around. So as you can see here, it's pretty close, but then when you go down, the gap gets a little bit bigger right here, and then it's really close here. So there's a few gaps here and there. This is aftermarket. Fitment's not going to be perfect, but it's not bad. I'm not mad. I actually like it. It looks really good. But let's just pray that the other side is just as good as this side. So let's go ahead and start working on the other side. I want to go ahead and explain all the bolts and everything that you got to remove to take the fender off. You have to remove all these screws here on the top. I believe there's about 4 of them, along with this plastic trim here. Now once you do that, you have to remove a bolt here, which is that one right there. It's gone. And then you have another one back here that you have to get with inside the door. You can try getting it through here, but it's going to be really complicated. And then you have 2 bolts down here at the bottom. There's one right there, and then there's another one over here. Now to get to this one, and to be able to get to this bolt over here, I have to remove the plastic piece that's holding this in here. Now it's extremely complicated to get it out. All it is a tab that's holding it in. You just gotta get like a screwdriver and get it out. But honestly, it's just really hard. So you gotta really try to pull that thing out with a screwdriver, and then you should be good. Right here in the front, there's also 2 tabs holding it in. So when you take these screws out here on the side, there's a total of like 4. You pull it out. There's also some at the bottom you gotta remove. And then you grab it, you pull it, and then you got this one that's extremely hard. Like, you can't just pull this one out. So I'm gonna try pulling it right now. See, that thing ain't coming out. You gotta get a screwdriver and just get it out as best as you can. But other than that, there's a few bolts at the bottom you gotta remove as well. Now the fender already has thread in it. So if you look at this hole right here, that already has like thread in it for you to be able to mount up the headlight. Now what I did, just because we removed the fender and it doesn't really have anything, so if you look at this one, I added one of these onto the fiberglass right here itself, and then on top of that I added a bolt, so I was able to tighten it up. That's how I was able to resolve the issue with the headlight, being able to mount it, because when you added the headlight and you mounted it onto the fender, you're actually able to pull this and make this line here a lot shorter or smaller. That way it's not such a big gap. So that's the reason I did that. It helped improve a lot on the gap right here on this side. So adding those is really going to help out a lot. But for the most part, they're completely installed. The only thing I want to do is I want to add some of these here at the end so I can mount up my bumper, because in order to use a bracket, so for this one, you can add it on there, you just have to make the holes for it, but I'm missing the other one, so I have to look for that one. I'm not sure where it's at, but if I can't find the other one, I'm just gonna end up mounting the bumper over here. That way I don't have any issues with the bumper falling off or anything. Alright, we're gonna head to the gas station real quick. I'm gonna get some gas. Once we do that, we're gonna head to a spot, talk about the fenders, how they fit, any issues, complaints, and yeah, so let's jump to the gas station. Alright guys, so here's how the car's looking after installing the Fly1 fenders. I don't have my side skirts anymore. I took them off. I plan on getting some new ones. And then my front lip also broke, so I'm going to have to make a new one as well and mount it up to the frame. But as you can see, the fitment's pretty good overall. Like, there's no issues at all with the fitment. It's really up to you how you mount it up, how it's going to turn out. There are some cases where I've seen a lot of people who tried their best to fit up the fenders the best that they could, but they had issues. So if we look at the gap on this side, there's a small gap right here, but for the most part it's pretty much perfect. The hood's a little bit misaligned. I need to move it a little bit more to the left, but as you can tell, it's really good right here. It flows perfectly with the headlight here, and then it goes well with the bumper as well. So see, it's like perfect on there. Now over here, it's pretty close as well. There's a small gap right here, but here at the bottom, it's perfectly aligned. And in order to pretty much install these, you have to start from the top. And then when you start from the top, make sure it's a little bit above, because when you're installing these, you have to stretch the bottom in order for it to mount up. And then you go ahead and put your bolts on there. So I started from the front fender. There's a bracket right here that you have to install first, and that's pretty much going to determine how far this is going to go down. I see some people have a gap, but I believe if they move this bracket down a little bit more, that'll kind of clean up the gap there. And then for the headlights, it was installed here on this side. I used a bracket that I kind of showed you guys earlier, that way you could mount it. I think it helps out a lot, clean up the gap that it has right here, so it looks a lot better once you install that. And then you have a total of 3 other bolts that are installed at the top. So after installing all of that, I think it came out really good. So as you can see, the fitment is pretty good. Now here's the hood. See how it needs to be pushed a little bit to the left. So the fenders are actually perfect. Well, not perfect, but they're pretty good. They have pretty good fitment for the most part. See here, it's a little bit off. That's actually my fault. I can actually push this tab that's right here. I can push it in a little bit more so it can be closer. So I think it gave a huge boost to the car and how it looks. It looks a lot better. It flows really well with the carbon fiber hood and the fenders. So it just looks sick overall. Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that I cut the inside of the fender. So see here how tight my fitment is. Like, the tire is right on this edge right here, and you need to cut that inner part that we can fit perfectly. If you don't cut it, it's not going to fit that great, and it's just going to hit, and it's most likely going to pull on it and most likely break the fender itself. So it's a good thing that I actually cut the inner part. I just used the Dremel. I think it's called the Dremel 200 series. So it works great. I've used it for a lot of things. I was able to cut it up, make it look really nice. I could also use it to make the lights on the side here, but I didn't really want to cut into the fender, so I might do it in the future, but I think it looks good overall. I'll give you guys a quick walk around on how the car looks. It's really dirty right now. I just cleaned it yesterday, but it got dirty quick. That's what sucks about having black cars. They get dirty so fast. Like, you can't even keep them clean for not even like 10 minutes. It already has dust all over it. Don't worry about this. This is a, what do you call this? The what is it for the wipers. So I just need to tuck that in. So for one of the fenders, I didn't come with the bracket to mount up the side skirt. So the side skirt's mounted up in 4 points actually right here, and on the side there was one bolt that was holding it up and some screws. So for this side I had to make my own hole and mount it up. So this one's, it's on there okay, but it's not as stiff as the other side. The other side actually had a bracket for me to be able to mount it up to, but other than that everything was pretty good. I did have trouble with this side right here. This bracket that's on this side, it doesn't actually mount up correctly or properly, just like the other side did. The other side I was able to put it on there with no problem. This side I had to mount it up first, and I had to really stretch the fender down that way to the right to make it fit properly. But I was able to get it in there. Everything came out really good. I really like how they came out. And then as for this side, see this side right here, I was able to make my own bracket. I was able to mount it to the fender itself, as where the other side I wasn't able to do that. But other than that, I really had no issues. Everything mounted up really good. It looks really sick. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the install. For the most part, it was pretty easy. Honestly, I was kind of scared to do this myself, but overall it looks great. Like, just looking at it from that angle, it just looks so sick. I didn't buy these directly from Fly1. I bought them from a guy locally. So you're looking to spend over $1,000. I think that's also not including shipping and taxes and everything. So I got them for a really good deal. I wouldn't spend $1,000 on this. The only reason I got them is because some guy was selling them, and I got really lucky and I picked these up. But I know that the wait time is like 5 to 6 months just to get these. So I paid less money than you would brand new, and I also gotta pretty much pick them up the same day. So that's why I picked these up really quick, because I know that there's a long wait for these. But I'm honestly really happy with how they came out. I think if they lowered the price, I believe a lot of more people would buy these, but they look really sick. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do have more things coming for the Z and the Q if you guys are interested in the Q as well. I plan on getting side skirts for this one, and then making a new front splitter, most likely putting it into or mounting it up to the frame. So that's going to be in a future video. But for the Q, as of right now, I do plan on lowering it and doing a few more things. So stay tuned for that. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.